रसानाम छंदसामपि मंगलानाम च कर्तारो वंदे वाणी विनायको। ओम सहना ववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहे तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहे। ओम तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय ओम अस्तो मा सद्गमय ओम मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ओम शांति शांति शांति। At this outset, it's my prerogative and pleasure to welcome the most dignified, eminent educationists, seasoned administrators who have come all the way from different universities, colleges of national and international repute. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Professor Gauri Shankar Jhaji, former HOD Ranchi University Ranchi, who will be deliberating upon future of study of English in multilingual world. Future of study of English in multilingual world. Sir, on behalf of the school fraternity, we welcome you, sir. My welcome is due to Professor Dr. Shreya Bhattacharjee Madam, She will be just having a session on fostering creativity in fiction and notification writing. At the same time, I take the opportunity to welcome Professor Dr. Prakash Chandra Panda ji. His topic of discussion is achieving excellence in academics, writing through the application of AI, artificial intelligence, my dear students. Next, I express my sincere gratitude to Professor Dr. Saikat Banerjee ji, who will be discussing on exploring career prospect in English language and literature. At the same time, I take opportunity to welcome most esteemed, a seasoned educationist, Shri M.K. Sinha Sahab, Assistant Regional Officer, Jharkhand Zone-J, cum Principal, DAV Public School, Ranchi. My welcome goes to Mr. S.K. Mishra ji, Principal SR DAV Panda, Mr. Pradeep Kumar Jha ji, Principal DAV Public School, Gandhinagar, Supervisory Head of DAV Baryatu, Madam Suman Jha, Supervisory Heads of this school, all the learned staff members of this school, and above all, the selected pieces of rose from the garden of heaven. My dear students, all of you are most welcome to this, very thought-provoking and insightful session. If you see the overall theme of today's session, what I feel, it embodies a potent combination of areas and development of complementary concerns. My dear students, you should not forget literature. It helps us to add value and morality to our life. It educates, it inspires, and it gives us ample opportunity to having creative writing, creative thinking, and other areas for our personal development as well. As the anchor of this program, she announced that this is our third DAV Literature Conclave. It is a joint venture of DAV Centre for Academic Excellence and DAV United Foundation. My dear students, I would like to urge you, today's session will help you out to be successful not only in your field, but how will you amalgamate literature for your better prospect. My dear students, everybody wants to be successful in his or her discourse. But what I feel, success in life depends on person's capacity, inclination, and desire to transform his ideas. Your own success and destiny is in your hand. Simply, you have to will and wish it. Whatever deliberations and discussions take place out of these 2-3 hours of discourse, you must jot it down and you just try to include it for your personal development. So once again, I welcome all the dignitaries, all the persons, those who are present in this mega hall to this DAV Literature Conclave. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Professor Dr. Gauri Shankar, former head of department, English, Ranchi University. Most respectable Madam Professor Dr. Shreya Bhattacharjee, Department of English and Dean, School of Language, Central University, Jharkhand. Most respectable Associate Professors Dr. P.C. Panda Sahab, Head of Department, Department of English, Usha Martin University, Ranchi. Esteemed Dr. Saikat Banerjee, Assistant Professor, Department of English, St. Xavier's College, Ranchi. My co-brother, Assistant Regional Officer, Shreya Mishra Sahab, Principal of this school, Shri Sanjeet Kumar Mishra ji, Principal, DAV Public School, Panda, Shri P.K. Jha ji, Principal DAV Gandhinagar, Madam Suman Jha, Supervisory Head DAV Bariyato, Mr. A.K. Mishra, Department of Hindi, DAV Hehal, and all my colleagues, HOD Mr. P.S. Das, convener and coordinator of this conclave, Mr. Duveji, and all the teachers and my dear students. At the very outset, I extend my thanks and gratitude to Shri S.K. Mishra Sahab, who has invited me and be the part of this DAV Literature Conclave, a joint venture of DAV Centre for Academic Excellence and DAV United. Dear students, you know that under the joint venture of DAV Centre of Academic Excellence and DAV United, DAV organizes different activity. Recently in Bhubaneswar, we had DAV United Festival where DAV invited its alumni and provide platform to express to showcase their talents. You know that what is the purpose of this DAV Literature Conclave? To know the importance of language and literature, to make the career in the field of language and literature, and when you be the part of it, then DAV will provide platform to express or to publish your books or whatever you like. पीछे 2 कनक्लेव हुआ यहाँ और सौभाग्य से मैं दोनों में प्रेजेंट था और ये तीसरा है। मैं श्योर हूं कि इस कनक्लेव से बच्चों में जिज्ञासा होगी लिटरेचर के प्रति, लैंग्वेज के प्रति, ना सिर्फ इंग्लिश के प्रति बल्कि हिंदी और संस्कृत के प्रति भी आपका ध्यान होना चाहिए। मैं बच्चे से कहूंगा कि बच्चे जब जो भी भाषा पढ़े, मैं कहता हूं संस्कृत हम रोज शुरू करते हैं गायत्री मंत्र से, जिसे हम महामंत्र कहते हैं। अभी हमारे डॉक्टर MC शर्मा साहब बता रहे थे कि इसमें 24 मात्राएं होती है और हर मात्रा से 1000 श्लोक लिखा गया वाल्मीकि जी के द्वारा, जो वाल्मीकि रामायण कहलाता है। हमें शाब्दिक अर्थ जानना चाहिए। रोज हम उच्चारण करते हैं, उसका भाव हम नहीं जानते, इसलिए हमारे अंदर लिटरेचर के प्रति भाव पैदा नहीं होता है। ओम भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम। हे परमात्मा, जो हमारे दुख को दूर करने वाले हैं, स्व जो सुख देने वाले हैं, तत्सवितुर उस उत्तम रोशनी को हम वरण करते हैं। भर्गो देवस्य उद्धार करने वाले उस देवता स्वरूप को धीमे धारण करते हैं। ह्यो यो न प्रचोदयात्, जो हमारे बुद्धि को तीव्र करे, प्रचंड करे, श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चलाए। मैं आपसे अपेक्षा करता हूं कि जो भी आप पढ़ें, क्योंकि आप ये निश्चित जान लें, आप भविष्य में इंजीनियर बने, डॉक्टर बने, आईएएस, आईपीएस, किसी भी फील्ड में जाएं, जब तक लिटरेचर पर कमांड नहीं होगा, लैंग्वेज पर कमांड नहीं होगा, कम्युनिकेशन पर कमांड नहीं होगा, स्किल पर, तो आप उस फील्ड में अपने आप को एक्सेल नहीं कर पाएंगे। दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ लैंग्वेज एंड लिटरेचर, एंड आई होप कि हमारे सामने विद्वान, एमिनेंट एजुकेशनिस्ट, स्कॉलर्स ऑफ लैंग्वेज लिटरेचर हमें सिखाएंगे कि कैसे इसको हम बच्चों के बीच में प्रमोट करें और कैसे इसको करियर के फील्ड में, चाहे वो पोएम हो, लिटरेचर हो, ड्रामा हो, सिनेमा का स्किट हो, कैसे इसको हम प्रमोट करें। और जब बच्चे इस फील्ड में अच्छा करें तो उनको हम प्लेटफॉर्म भी दें ताकि अपने टैलेंट को प्रदर्शित करते हैं। इसी के साथ वंस अगेन आई एक्सटेंड माय सिंसियर hearty welcome to all the eminent educationists and scholars, and express thanks again to the principal and all the members of the staff and students for inviting me. Thank you very much.
Presentation, and in the second part, the experts will interact with the students. They will take questions from them and satisfy the inquisitiveness. The topics which will be discussed by the guest speakers are as follows. Professor Dr. Gauri Shankar will be talking about future of study of English in a multilingual world. Professor Dr. Shreya Bhattacharjee, her topic is fostering creativity in fiction and non-fiction writing. Professor Dr. Prakash Panda, he will be talking about achieving excellence in academic writing. And last but not the least, Professor Dr. Shankar Banerjee, he will be talking about exploring career prospects in English language and literature. With that, let's start our proceedings. And first, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Gauri Shankar, but before that, let me take a moment to introduce Professor Dr. Gauri Shankar. So with an experience of over 36 years in teaching and administration, Professor Dr. Gauri Shankar was the principal of Government Degree College. He has served his institution as professor and head University Department of English, Ranchi University. He has also served as the Dean Faculty of Humanities, Dean Faculty of Social Science, Dean Faculty of TRL, Dean Students Welfare and Director IQAC Ranchi University. Professor Jha boasts a robust publication record in both national and international journals, having undertaken numerous minor and major research projects. Furthermore, he has successfully supervised numerous research scholars for their PhD, and he holds the editorial responsibilities of 2 international literary journals. I request Professor Dr. Gauri Shankar to come to the dais and address our students.
We are comfortable with that language. You see, Angika, Maithili, Bhojpuri, Magai, बहुत सारा है ना, लेकिन उसको लेके आप बाहर नहीं जा सकते हैं. We may be very much comfortable. If you find one Maithili speaking or Bhojpuri speaking man somewhere, say in South India or in some other country, oh boy, इतना आह्लादित आप हो जाएंगे, भाई मिला एक आदमी को मिला, but that emotional thing won't do. The world is run by this, not by this. Isn't it? So that is the question. That is the question. There are so many languages. So it is better that we should maintain our identity, we should preserve our culture, we should preserve our cultural civilization and all those things. At the same time, we should be aware of where the world is going. Very fast, the world is going very fast. अभी हम लोग समझ रहे हैं कि we are far behind. You see, the world of AI, हमारे एक कलीग जो है अभी आपको देंगे, आपको उसके बारे में AI, अरे भाई क्या हो गया? Now is the time of AI, and I think in 5 or 10 years, they will say that teachers are not needed. रोबोट पढ़ाएगा, क्लास में रोबोट पढ़ाएगा, है ना? रोबोट पढ़ाएगा, भाई टीचर्स का क्या जरूरत है? Why should there are topics how to write different types of writing. तो बोले क्यों उसको पढ़ने AI में डाल दीजिए, आपका निकल जाएगा. हाँ, एप्लीकेशन भी निकल गया, जो पेपर निकल रहा है वो भी निकल गया, PhD का थीसिस भी निकल गया, सारा चीज निकल गया. But that is not the end. That is not the end. So when we talk of certain practical things, there are so many languages in the world. That's why you say that multilingual world. But the thing is that we have to see, we have to be aware of which language can help us to grow up to the highest hierarchy. So that is the thing. And if you talk of language, other languages, some other languages are there which are trying to compete with English. For example, Chinese, for example, Spanish. But that is not the final thing. Now, why should we go for this? You see, you have so many very talented people, talented businessmen. You can say, why should I learn? I am a student of science, I must know that a plus b का whole square, a square plus b square plus 2, उसके आगे दुनिया नहीं है. लेकिन उसके आगे दुनिया है, उसके आगे दुनिया है, इस बात को आप समझिए. And even you see in the Parliament of India, most of the speakers, I think 99% of the speakers are delivering their lectures in English. Now it is something else that some provision is there, some facility is there, that you can get it translated into your own language and you can know the gist of that. But you must have the knowledge of English. And if you want to excel in any field, for example, you want to become a very good businessman, commerce, trade, होगा ही नहीं. बिना इंग्लिश का आप बढ़ ही नहीं सकते. जितने बड़े बड़े आप देख रहे हैं ना, बड़े बड़े जितने बिजनेसमैन हैं, they are well read, well educated, well read and well educated. So if you want to have that thing, for example, if you go to the technical field, if you want to be an engineer, if you want to be a doctor, what about the textbooks? So all the textbooks are in English. कहाँ भागेगा? It may be certain propagation from certain pockets, certain corners that English छोड़ो बेकार, ये तो वो लोग लाभ के चला गया, ये सब ये सेंटिमेंट में बन से कुछ नहीं होगा. You cannot escape. You go to the technical world, you go to the medical world, you cannot do anything minus the knowledge of English. So, in the field of business, in the field of technology, in the field of diplomacy also, you see, if you can talk directly into that particular language, that will be easy. So all around the world, in almost all fields, you will find that this English is going to help you a lot. And you will be surprised that most of the writers, successful writers of our Indian literature, they had a very good background of English and they shifted to Hindi. आप लोग जानते हैं जैसे हरिवंश राय बच्चन थे, आर एस शर्मा, धर्मवीर भारती, किरण देसाई, अयोध्या सिंह हरिऔर. So with that background, with the background of English, and let me tell you, I have also done my post-graduation in Hindi, so I know that very well. It is not that you are learning English, so you are rejecting or ignoring your Hindi, your mother. Unless you have a command over your own language, हिंदी पर command होगा तभी आपको इंग्लिश आपकी अच्छी होगी. इस बात को आप समझ लीजिए. इस बात को you take it for granted that it happens and it is happening all around. So for skill development of any kind, you must have the knowledge of English. And the entire education system, this way or that way, it is dependent upon the knowledge of English. Unless you have the knowledge of English, you can. And you see, you go to the field of employment. कहाँ बिना English का कहाँ काम चलेगा? Even if you want to become a assistant, office assistant, वहाँ भी तो English चाहिए. So in the field of employment, in the field of education, in the field of technology, in the field of commerce, in the field of cultural understanding, in the field of economic power, in the field of global media, in the field of political dynamics, or everywhere, you should have a sound knowledge of English. So, let us try to know this thing, that when you see, you come to your own country, we have our Indian writing in English these days. And how it came? It came through imitation and translation. Imitation, we started imitating. Romantics में आप early poets को देखिएगा, oh, they are trying to imitate. But the thing is, how we propagated our values, our ethics. Our Indian religious scriptures were translated into English. And then the entire world came to know that, you see, this is Bhagavad Gita, this is Ramayana, this is Purana, this is Upanishad. And you will find so many Western writers, European writers like T.S. Eliot, W. Yeats. They have a very, very sound knowledge of our Vedas and Puranas. Utna हम लोग को भी knowledge. So, you see, this is an age of multiculturalism. एक culture नहीं रह गया, सारा culture mix कर गया. But we are aware of our culture, our civilization. This is an age of multilingualism. We should have respect for every language, but we should be aware of the dominating language. कौन सा dominate कर रहा है? उसको पकड़ेंगे ना? हमको आगे बढ़ना है तो. So, through translation, we could propagate, we could get the rest of the world know what we are. So, in the attraction of the East towards the alien world. So, that is one thing. And now see, certain new things are coming. You see, there are certain writers in our country who tries to mix English and Hindi. That is English. There are so many Hindi words which have been accepted in the English dictionary. So Hindi, that is only English. In the same way, there is Singlish. Singlish means Singaporean English. So that is something else. If you go to certain advanced areas, you come to know that this English has been divided into so many American English is there, Australian, New Zealand, But we should be aware of the British. We are learning British English. We are learning British English. So these are a few things that you should keep in mind. And when you are aware of the dominance of this global language, you can certainly say that the future of English is more than bright. Thank you.
Namaskar, good morning. It is always a great pleasure to come to any DAV institute. I pride myself on being an alumna from DAV Hehal, and when I come here, I always feel I have come back to my own home. Thank you, Sir, Principal DAV Hehal, principals of different DAV schools, my co-speakers here, learned teachers of this institute, my dear students. Today, when Mr. Das and I were discussing, I thought I would speak on fostering creativity in fiction and non-fiction writing. And I thought that since all of us are located in Jharkhand, so I thought I would focus on Jharkhand. And so today you will see the world of Jharkhand through my eyes. So I request all the students to look at the slides carefully. I created this PowerPoint with the help of two of my scholars, senior research scholar Kunjan Kumar Jha and also my scholar Hare Krishna Puiri. Most of the photographs and paintings that you would be seeing are taken on the field by Hare. And as I told you, my focus will be on fostering creativity in fiction and non-fiction writing with special focus on Jharkhand. So if you look at the slide here, at the back, you can see 3 generations going to the Sukanburu Kite Festival near Khuti. In the front, you can see the little girl and the ladies coming to Mudma Jatra. And that scene on your right is typical Jharkhand. So, when you think of being creative, what are the things we need to look at? You need to, and that is point number 1, you need to read, you need to be curious, you need to imagine, you need to innovate, you need to think, you need to research, you have to be conscious of your context, you have to be inclusive, you have to add a touch of humor where possible, you have to be conscious about your use of language, and only then you can write. Now this is our world, the present world. You can look at your right. This is our hyper-digitalized world to which all of you belong. We also belong. You also belong. You are the Gen Alpha. You belong to this age. And you can see what's happening. We suffer from this attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And you will be surprised to see that there are 10 million cases reported each year from India, and it is not a joke. And the average human attention span has decreased from 12 seconds to 8.25 seconds in the last 2 years. So what do we do in this world? What should we do? We have to read and we have to write. I have put in the case study of Sweden, where in 2009 they adopted a hyper-digitalized approach to teaching, education, and which began with introducing tablets in the nursery school. And today, in 2023 onwards, they are going back to the world of reading and writing, and from 2023, they have spent 104 million euros to come back to the world of reading and writing. So when you want to write, whether you want to write fiction or you want to write non-fiction, we have to think about these things. What are the things that put us off? What are the things that appeal? You cannot just write anything, whether you are writing poetry, whether you are writing a blog, whether you are creating a blog, whatever you are doing, you cannot just write anything. You have to know what appeals and what puts people off. Now the first thing is to read. Read as much as you can, no matter what you want to write, fiction, non-fiction, blogs, whatever. The first focus should be on writing, on reading. You got to read. Read as much as you can. I thought I would take this opportunity to introduce you to some of the writers from Jharkhand. Anuj Lugun won the 2019 Sahitya Akademi Yuva Puraskar for his long Hindi poem Baap aur Sugna Munda Ki Beti. You can see it on the right. Mihir Vatsa won the same award, Sahitya Akademi Yuva Puraskar, in 2022 for his writing in English, The Tales of Hazaribagh. And Salke Hasda won also with Mihir Vatsa the Sahitya Akademi Yuva Puraskar in 2022 for her Santhali novel, Janam Disom Ujaroj Kana. It gives me immense pleasure, and I am very proud to say, as a connoisseur of literature and as a teacher of literature, that some of the finest fiction in the world today, fiction and non-fiction, is coming from Jharkhand. And you can see it here. You can see Mahadev Toko, a leading poet from Jharkhand. You can see the works of Vandana Tete. You can see the works of Nirmala Putul. You can see, of course, the works of Jacinta Kerpetta. Her latest work is Prem Mein Ped Hona. You can see the works of Hasta Shovendra Shekhar, The Adivasi Will Not Dance. You can see the works of Anuj Lugun. You can see the works of an upcoming poet from Jharkhand, Parvati Tirki. Her first book, her debut being Fir Ugna. On the right, you can see the works of Samar Basu Malik, and this is a collection of stories about the Mundana land. Now, if after having introduced you to the writers of Jharkhand, whom I hope you will want to read, the next thing that comes after reading is curiosity. You need to be curious. When you read, it is only after you have read a lot that you are curious and you ask questions. Why? How? When? Where? You need to ask these questions. And then you do some research. And believe me, research is not what someone does only at the university. Research can be done at all levels, including your level, including school level. So what do? When you research, you discover and draw ideas, and then you substantiate your ideas. There are two ways of substantiating. One, you do it through reading, and two, you do it through fieldwork. So this is how you research. Next is the lived experience. What will you write about? What will you write about? You will write about your lived experience. What you have lived through. You will write about that. So what are the things we need to think about? We need to be rooted to your place. If you are in Jharkhand, if you know Jharkhand best, write about Jharkhand. Be rooted to your context. Know about the cultural nuances of your place. Know your context. And then you use your context to write. And you will always write better if you are rooted to the context, rooted to the place. And then thereafter comes imagination. To the context, you coalesce your lived experience and your imagination. And how does imagination flourish? Imagination flourishes when you read. Read, imagine, live your life, be rooted to your context, and write. And what are the things you will write about? Write about the little narratives. The small things that you see happening all around you. And I suggest to all the students here, explore Jharkhand. Explore its natural wealth. Visit the numerous jatras, the festivals, the fairs. Sample the local food, cuisine, and learn to appreciate the local art. I sometimes find it very disappointing that when I ask my students at the master's level or even at the PhD level, that having lived all their life in Jharkhand, they are not really aware of the pulsating cultural matrix of Jharkhand. So this is your place, this is your context, this is what you need to feel, and only then you can write. The picture that you see is of one of my students. We had all gone to the shrine of Coco Budia, and it was sunset, and he was very insistent that this is what is meant by the lived experience. If you will just play I thought I will give you just a small glimpse of the cultural context of Jharkhand by a very small video of the Circle Festival, which is the spring festival of the local communities here. If you would just, in the slideshow, if you would just keep on it being played.
Thank you all. When you have Professor Shreya ma'am sitting in front of you, I am a very meager kind of a bacteria in comparison to her academic credentials. But thank you for the generous introduction, and thank you to the management, our honorable principal sir, and the entire management of DAV, who has given me this opportunity to come and share with you all, speak on a topic which is, I think, very pertinent and important. जैसे कि कहते हैं कि I think बच्चों आप हमारे साथ हैं. मैं आपका बस 10-15 मिनट लूंगा और अपना वक्तव्य खत्म करूंगा. जैसे कि कहते हैं ना, भूखे पेट दिमाग नहीं चलता. जब आप भूखा तो लगता है दिमाग चलता है ना? ठीक उसी तरह whatever kind of writing and everything that you're doing, it needs something which helps you, to run your belly. And at the same time, I would like to emphasize on the point that you should know to differentiate between language of belly and language of heart. And language of belly as of now in the present scenario is English. But language of heart, I think, should be your mother tongue. So please, you should be very good in English. You should work very hard to improve your English in whatever form you feel like. But please ensure that you don't ignore your language of heart, that is your mother tongue, which is the general norm nowadays which I see. So isko zara dhyan rakhiyega. As you can see on the screen, I am talking about something about your career prospect, your belly part. Let us just look around. What are the things? English. Why English is so important? Why? Fine, we all know that English is a global lingua franca, is the global language. But why is English so important? Is it just a language? I said no. Is just a subject? No. It helps you to know about things which is not only about language, which includes plethora of things, diverse things. And what are those? First is, as Shreya ma'am was saying, about critical thinking. Of course, it will help you, it sharpens your critical thinking, your analyzing skills. You have the different genres of literature, be it poetry, drama. It helps you critically analyze those. Whenever you speak of English, you talk about Shakespeare, right? And you go through the dramas. I'm sure some part of Shakespeare might be prescribed in your syllabus of class 9, 10 or 11, 12. I'm not very, this is CBSE, right? I think in ICSE it is there, I don't know about CBSE. Yeah, so when you read different texts of Shakespeare, analytical skill or critical thinking is very, very important. So English helps that. Second is, of course, communication. No matter what is your content inside, no matter how much you know, if as a speaker you are not able to express yourself in the language that you are expected, nobody, that's one of the demerits that you will face, no matter what kind of good student you are. So if the medium of language is English, you have to ensure that your pronunciation, your diction, your emphasis, your rising tone, your falling tone, आप कुछ भी ले लीजिए, एक sentence, take a sentence. एक sentence में, suppose a sentence, there has to be an engine and there is a guard room, which is very important. If you don't have those two, the train will not run. In the same way, in any sentence that you speak, there is an engine and there is a guard room. It is your duty as a speaker to ensure which is the engine and which is the guard room. See, audience will not take that responsibility. So, wo kaise hoga? That will be on your intonation, that will be on your rising tone, falling tone, okay? Your accent, that has to be there. You are a speaker of English and because to aap bol rahe because. So, no matter what kind of quality you have, you are completely rejected there. You are not accepted. So speaking right English, which ma'am also emphasized, speaking right English, right grammar, right pronunciation is very, very important. Okay? Cultural understanding. Ma'am was speaking about Africa. How will you read about Africa? And there is a huge debate about aegis and boogie, about local language and global language. आप जब अफ्रीकन लिटरेचर पढ़ेंगे, I think one of the most interesting literature बच्चों, अगर आपको जानना हो दुनिया के बारे में, इंग्लिश के अलावा, हिंदी के अलावा, प्लीज गो एंड रीड अफ्रीकन लिटरेचर. इतना मजेदार है, इतना एक्सप्लोसिव है और इतना बढ़िया है, आपको बड़ा अच्छा लगेगा. इंडियन जो राइटर्स होते हैं ना, बड़े डिप्लोमेटिक होते हैं. अफ्रीकन राइटर्स ऐसे नहीं है. एंड देयर इज अ रीजन टू इट. देयर इज अ ह्यूज रीजन. मैं उसमें नहीं जा रहा हूं. आप हाउ विल यू नो अबाउट अफ्रीकन लिटरेचर? You will only know through a language, right? And what is that language? English, in most of the cases. So if you don't know English properly, how will you read literature of Africa? How will you read literature of some other countries which speaks their local languages? So it is very, very important to understand, this particular language helps us in cultural understanding, versatility. It gives you an edge over others. I advocate that you should learn as many languages as you can. It gives you edge over others. It gives you versatility. It gives you that fine-tuning over others. And you get to learn so many new things. For example, I give you, this lady here? If you read the Diary of Anne Frank, which I'm sure most of you have read, or is reading, and if you have not read, it's okay, no problem. आप जाइए, इसको Amazon में मंगाइए और पढ़िए. आपको लगेगा कि आप खुद लिख रहे हैं. It is so interesting and it is full with anecdotes. You will read it and it involves you. It improves your reading and writing skills, which is the need of the hour. And as per your standard, this is a must. This should be there in your personal library. Career paths, lots, if you take English. I'm not demotivating you, don't take science. And at the same time, if you're not interested in science, you should only read subjects which you are interested. Believe me, there is job everywhere. There is no paucity of job. The problem is there is paucity of quality candidates. Jobs का कोई कमी नहीं है, आप हिस्ट्री लेके पढ़िए, you have so many jobs. Okay, so how will you do? If you take suppose English, you do a BA honors and an English MA, there are so many plethora of jobs. What you see all around you, most of those people are from English background. Number one, देखिए academic research आप लोगों को पता है, अच्छा English का क्या होगा? टीचर बन जाएगा? अरे नहीं भैया, बहुत कुछ बनते हैं. पहला वाला तो आपका टीचर है. Second is of course journalism and media. Journalism and media. Now so you have the most powerful tool, the YouTube. It is the most open and powerful source of journalistic presentation. You see all the great journalists nowadays who are unable to work with the great conglomerates because of some problems. They are opening the channels and on the basis of their qualitative skills, they are excelling. They don't have any paucity of money, they are earning money. And they are doing it at their own will. Creative writing, of course, is very, very important. Creative writing is not only done, my dear students, for your belly, okay? Creative writing is also done for your heart. And as ma'am took out those fine nuances, which are the areas, if you are from Jharkhand, which are the areas you should choose as your subject of, I'm sure you have made notes from her presentation, which are the areas you should choose. She has very systematically presented and given you full hints. She was like a guidebook today. If you want to be a creative writer, see my presentation. Absolutely fine. And I got so many inputs from her presentation today because I myself is a short story writer. So I'll explore those areas. So that. Next is corporate sector. Content writing, HR specialist. आप जो ads देखते हैं ना, maximum ads which are created by people from literature. I don't know whether you know or not. Whatever ideas you see in the ads, they are from literature. So literature is literature is a huge tree and there are so many umbrellas to it. Advertising, you have in advertising sector there are so many things. You have copywriter, creative director, campaign strategist. ये सब मिलके ना एक ad बनता है. One of the most important things in ad, are the catching lines. Catching lines. अजीब सा ड्यूपियो डर के आगे जीत है. क्या है मतलब? उसको लिटरली मत ले लीजिएगा कि ड्यूपियो पहाड़ से कूद दिया, ऐसा नहीं है. What these are some catchy lines. We like it or not like it. And who did this? People from literature. जैसे नाइकी का यहाँ पे है, just do it. These are taglines done by literature people. So there's a team to it, In advertising also, there's a huge scope for students from literature. Public relation, PR. You have to be a good PR. In your personal life also, you should know how to behave properly with people. And there is no extra cost in having a smiley face. I can assure you, my dear students, smiley face can solve problems sometimes which cannot be solved otherwise. So a smiley face is always, I'm not saying laughing face. There's a difference between smiley face and laughing face. You know what is the difference? What is the difference, anybody? Smiley face or laughing. Smile or laugh में क्या फर्क है? कोई भी? Anybody? ये जो आप बोल रहे हैं ना हैमलेट जैसे शेक्सपियर के हैमलेट, टू बी या नॉट टू बी, आंसर करूं या ना करूं, ये जीवन में जितना जल्दी आप इसको ओवरकम करेंगे, यू विल बी एबल टू ओवरकम योर फियर, एंजाइटी. टू बी और नॉट, दो मन में मत रहिए. सिग्नल है घूमो या ना घूमो. घूमना तो घूमो, नहीं घूमना मत घूमो. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? यू हैव टू बी क्लियर, क्लैरिटी. दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Smile is when you don't show your two teeth. This is smile. No, I am saying you should have a smile face. And in non-verbal communication, smiley face is a form of welcoming others, which is a very good gesture. Okay. Then you have broadcasting, TV presenters. You see all this every day. Every day, script writing. Who writes the scripts? Most of the script writers are from students from literature. How are they writing it? How are you feeling so close to their writings? Because they are from day-to-day life. And why they excel in English graduate students, why they excel in media? Because of their quality, strong command over language, strong command over writing, strong घुमा फिर का भैया. You have to be very good in the language. No matter which language you are, you have to be very good. And English में you have to be very good always. इसमें there's something called superiority, inferiority. ये नीड ऑफ द आवर है. 400 साल पहले जो है आपके फ्रेंच था, उससे पहले लैटिन था. इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. इट्स अ इवॉल्विंग प्रोसेस. Now, English is a global language, what do you call, global lingua franca, global language, you have to know. 200 years के बाद पता चला आपका हिंदी हो जाए, so you have to be very good in Hindi. Are you getting my point? So इसमें कोई ego नहीं, अरे अंग्रेजी बोल रहा है, अरे no. It's a need of the hour. Need of the hour. That has to be very clear cut. Okay? And at the same time, don't compromise with your mother tongue. Careers in writing, editing, publishing. There are a lot of careers that you can do because of the paucity of time. I'm sorry, I'll not be able to, talk about all these. How to pursue your English literature career? First, you have to do school level. School level में मैं सर जैसे पांडा सर कह रहे थे, I would just like to beg to differ a little bit from what he said. In school level, in my opinion, you should abstain as much as you can from AI. Grammarly is a very good tool for AI for you all. But दूसरा जो chat GPT वगैरह है कभी नहीं, because you know what, your mind is not developed. You have not developed your mind. जहाँ पे your mind is in a position to differentiate between which is ethical, which is non-ethical. Are you getting my point? And because you are younger, and because as per the Christian beliefs and all, it is the Saturn which rules us most of the time. So we get carried away to the negative things. So don't expose yourself, expose as less as you can to these AI tools of writing. I'm talking about writing AI tools. Grammarly is a very good AI tool to check your grammar. But then what happens? If your grammar is not good, you are checking always in grammar, what will happen? School is the time to develop your grammar. School is not the time to check in Grammarly. I'm sorry. School is the time to check your grammar, to know each and every chapter of Wren and Martin. I don't know which grammar book you all follow. We follow Wren and Martin. So school में you should abstain from all these things. Video वगैरह आप कर रहे हैं, editing, that's fine. Beauty plus वगैरह लगा रहे हैं, that's fine. So first is you do a BA English, second you do a MA English, and then you proceed what you want to do. MA के बाद you can go to market, media, whatever. Right side में you can go to PhD, where you become a teacher. Plethora, school teacher, college teacher, so many things. Nowadays you have management teachers, management schools. There are so many options if you study MA in English. But make sure you study BA and MA together. You don't lose that gap. Don't create a gap between that. Writing skill again hoga. You should read classics. Now what is classics? Are you aware what is classic? You should develop a habit. Ma'am was, and I know her for a very long time. She is a voracious reader. You know what is voracious reader? मैम को दो ही चीज आता है, टाइम पे खाना खाना, वो भी कभी कभी लेट हो जाती है, लेकिन एक चीज लेट नहीं होती, वो है पढ़ना. इनके घर में जाओगे तुमको किताबें मिलेगा और कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. And she is a role model for so many of us. She is a voracious reader. You please, अगर कभी मौका मिला मैम के घर जरूर जाना, मोड़ा दादी में जाना. You will see her library, you will be awestruck. Department libraries are not as rich as she has a library. आप अगर पैसे में करेंगे, मैं एक अप्रोच बता देता हूं, कम से कम 10 लाख रुपए का लाइब्रेरी. मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, voracious reader is important. You have to be a voracious reader. You have to be a reader who reads every day without any failure, like you eat and sleep. And you should read, in this age, you should read classics. Classics means what? Text which never age. They are not aging texts. 500 years ago, they were as interesting as they are now. So for you, the best classics, मुझे लगता है, the first author you should start is Charles Dickens. Read Charles Dickens. Read the classics. Classics will help you in creative skill. Classic will help you in development of your language. Classic will also help you to foresee and also know the culture and system of the time. हम लोग क्या करते हैं? लंदन जाते हैं, ब्रिज के सामने कौन सा है? लंदन ब्रिज के सामने फोटो खिंचवाते हैं. Do you know the history of that? When you read classics, you will come to know कि वो हमारा एक खून था, हमारा एक खून का बना हुआ है. Writing skills, coding, these things you are doing in the school, but how perfect you are doing it. Remember, there is no place for average, because we are proud, the first producers, the largest producer of children in the world, production. So, har cheez mein we have a line, so we have no option of average, but that does not mean you score 100 out of 100. In literature, one best thing about literature, literature always gives space to every individual. Every individual has space in literature. A plus B whole square is equal to A square plus 2AB plus B square. नहीं होता है literature में. लिटरेचर में 1 + 1 = 2 नहीं होता, कभी 3 होता है, कभी 5 होता है. That is the best part of literature. Your identity is never lost. जसिंता करकेटा 500 साल में एक बाद अगर जसिंता करकेटा का कोई पोएम पढ़ेगा, they will never forget जसिंता करकेटा. It makes you immortal, as Shakespeare says in his sonnets. You should always be curious and open-minded. Don't get carried away by people who are very pessimistic. You will always have pessimistic people in your, in your friend circle. अरे छोड़ो ना, ऐसे लोगों से दूर रहो. ऐसे लोगों से हमेशा दूर रहो. एक चीज और आपको बताएं. If you really want to be a good speaker, one thing that has helped me a lot as a good speaker is I always participated in theatre. I was a regular theatre member till masters. So please ensure after school, wherever you go, you are a part of the theatre group. Of course, debate, elocution is but what makes you a very good speaker about the intonation and all those part, theatre helps you a lot, and unknowingly it will teach you a lot of things which will help you in your professional life. So please keep in mind about theatre. Communication skill, fine. Feedback is very important. Can you take feedback about yourself which are mostly negative? Can you criticize yourself? Nowadays, where everything, आप देखिए, any social media you see, you open YouTube, you open Instagram, you open Facebook, सब में क्या चलता है? मैं, I. क्या हो रहा है ये? हमारे तो मम्मी पापा ने ऐसे सिखाया था कि भैया अगर आप अच्छे हैं तो पड़ोसी या बाकी लोग कहेंगे कि आप अच्छे हैं. आजकल मम्मी पापा कह रहे मेरा बेटा ही अच्छा है, मेरा बेटी ही अच्छा है. I. जब ये I आ जाता है बच्चों, what happens, you somehow move far away and you don't like to get criticized. जहां पे क्रिटिसिज्म आपका नहीं रहेगा, वहां पे चापलूसी शुरू होता है. जहां पे चापलूसी शुरू होता है, वहां पे there is no improvement. So please focus on your criticism. Remain with people who criticizes you. जो आपको criticize करे, please stay with them. They are your best friends. They are your best family members because they want something good in you. Are you getting my point? That is very, very important. Learn to criticize yourself, learn to commit mistakes and learn from the mistakes. And enjoy failures. Okay? Failure is a part and parcel of life. ये जो आपके सामने खड़े हैं, पता नहीं कितना एग्जाम फेल किए हैं. Doesn't matter. Global language is very important in the modern world. Fine. Adapt to modern careers and industries. You should always have that open-mindedness. You should always welcome new things, like social media is very important, digital media is very important nowadays. You should learn. अभी जैसे सर हमारे पांडा सर बहुत सारे, he was talking about a lot of apps. I am not aware of it, and I will ensure that some of the apps I will go and I will explore because it will only add to my value addition. Are you getting my point? You should always have the curiosity to learn, and you should always have the curiosity to add. The day, my dear students, you stop learning, that is your final nail in the coffin. Till the last day you are alive, you should continue learn. Learn new things. And that learning process will be, and you should always stay in company with people who are best in their field. Then you will feel the humbleness of them, the humility in them. And you will learn that how, after you become great or very good or renowned, how to remain humble. Or not? The greatest humble character in my opinion is Sachin Tendulkar. And the worst of course is Virat Kohli. I'll go away. I'll stop because now it's time to go home. Later I'm sure we will meet in some, the world is a very small place and we will definitely meet somewhere or the other and then we will discuss. And of course, I would love to have 1 or 2 questions, although we don't have that much of time. This is something which is very important. And if you can just take 30 seconds out now and read that in a world that constantly evolves, one thing that remains constant is the power of words to change lives and shape the future. English language and literature is not just, please don't treat it as a subject, it's not a subject only. It's a journey into creativity, knowledge and self-discovery. So take that step, tell your story and make a difference in the world. The possibilities are endless. Okay? Before I close my presentation, my dear students, it was me, after so many years, reliving my school days, and I felt so great coming to the school. Thank you to the management, thank you to Shreya ma'am, and I always, because I think if a nation wants to change, if there is a change that has to take place, the change should start from the school. And I really congratulate our Honorable Principal Sir that he has taken such a great initiative. He is a foresighted person. स्कूल में इस तरह का कॉन्क्लेव होना ये समझाता है कि आपका जो लीडर है ना वो कितने फोरसाइटेड है, कितने आगे का सोचते हैं. And he is a true leader, what I am saying.
About our level, and they talk that we need to start first because every first effort is very crucial. If we talk about academic writing, I don't know how many of you know what is academic writing. It's a very formal style of writing, basically used in educational research environment, and normally we use this for our writing essays, research papers, PhD dissertations, reports and other scholarly works. The following features you can find in academic writing. The very first thing is formality, objectivity, not being subjective, clarity, structure, it should have citations, critical analysis and audience awareness. I am skipping this because I will say this after. I would like to a small question to all the audience over here. Very quickly, can you say how many English words do you know? How many English words do you know? If we, our just a strong estimate. Nearly?
Stand up, then
70. 70. Okay. In which class you are?
Class 11.
Class 11. 70 words. I think very okay. Anyway, I just pass the mic to someone else behind. Yeah. You, how many English words do you know?
you please speak.
Just give me number. From 1 to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, any number. Huh? Infinity. Even we don't have that number in English language. Yes. How many English words? Okay, anyway, leave it. Okay. So, students, 70, which I think is a very low number. But if you see, imagine the whole English language, right? The words which are currently in use, this is the data I've taken from Oxford Dictionary. 1,71,4,076 are the words that are presently in use. Okay. The technical and regional vocabulary, if you add them, because many words have been derived from other languages, is 2,50,000, and the overall limit that you can is 7,50,000 English words are there. Right? So, how many English words do you know? That's my question. So, English is now the most spoken language worldwide. You know that some people say it's Mandarin, but if you talk about spoken language, English is the most spoken language worldwide with 1.131 million, right, speakers around the world, both native and non-native. Huge number. Okay. And coming second is Chinese, the Mandarin one. Okay. With 1.117 million. And next is coming our Hindi. Right. So this is a brief starts to show you the language which we are studying now is the most spoken language in the world, not by all the native speakers, but also by the non-native speakers like us. Okay. So, if you just have a look at the vocabulary of the native and non-native speakers, I think this will help you understand that non-native speakers, the average vocabulary, the average English word is 2,000 to 3,000 English words. We know. Non-native speakers. And the native speakers, their average is 25,000 to 30,000 average. Okay. So, if you just have a small pie chart of the whole vocabulary, you can see 50% is noun, 25% is adjective, 14% is verbs, and 11% are the others. So, to communicate in English, we need a knowledge of 2,800 English words. If you know that much words, you can communicate with anyone without any hiccup. But that doesn't mean that you will stop your learning at 2800. If you have a knowledge of 28,000 words, you gain a knowledge of 6,000 more words, because each word is related to a word family. And one word family will lead to another, and that will lead to 6,000 words. And finally, if you have a knowledge of 8,000 English words, you will have a knowledge of 34,000 English word corpus, that because every word is linked with a word family. Right? So, what is academic vocabulary? Because when you are using academic writing, you need to use academic vocabulary. Okay? And we say that to have a very simple example of academic vocabulary, I think I'm watching television, we saw that. I watch you, okay, we say that. The better word for it, I observe you. In that way, I can say that the simpler definition of how you can define academic vocabulary. Okay. So, there are 3 types of words in academic vocabulary. I will skip that point because we have to many things to see. There are 2 word lists. One is called Academic Word List AWL by Oxford of Victor University. Another one is New Academic Word List, that is by Charles Brownie. And both the words have a common set of words. In the first list we have 570 word families, and the other word we have 963 words. They both are the standard vocabulary we follow in academic writing. Okay. So, what we can do? It's a small tip I have designed for you. I think you will appreciate that these are the things we can do to incorporate academic writing in whatever you do. It doesn't mean that you are a student, but when you're writing your own paper, like you are writing an essay, you are writing a creative writing, you can include this step. The number 1 step is that use formal vocabulary. Don't use the words which are used every day. Right? For example, you see, there are lots of people who believe. You can replace the word a lot of with the word there are a significant number of people who believe. In that way. Right? Using formal verbs. Avoid the use of go up, go down, talk about, get better, get out. For go up you can use the word increase. For go down you can use the word decrease. For talk about you can use the word discuss. So in that way you can bring a variety to your language. Always use the full forms. Don't use these contractions. These contractions make your writing less formal. Okay? And always use the correct grammatical structure. Professor Shreya was talking about that. Because whatever you write, whatever you create, you need to focus upon your grammar and syntax. If that is wrong, no one values you. Even I, when I'm writing copy, I say single mistake or there. I don't. My mind changes with it. You know, whatever he might not have written, there should be error-free. Okay. So, just have a look at the sentence. The environment is increasingly polluted. This is a global concern. There is no need of breaking the sentence into 2 sentences. The same sentence can be said like this: the increasing pollution of the environment is a global concern. Very simple. In that way, you can combine the sentences and make it more meaningful and make it more expressive. Right? When you use statements, try to avoid rhetorical questions. Just have a look. Most of the time we say how are written and spoken English different. Okay, while writing an essay, we pose this question in the essay. Don't do that. Written in English is different from spoken English by the other following ways. You can use in that way. What were the reasons for the decline? There were 5 main reasons for the decline. In that way, you can start your essay. Don't ask a question and start your essay. Always use an impersonal language. Like for example, you see, I can think of 4 main problems. Don't give such statements. When you use the word I in academic writing, that makes it subjective. You need to make academic writing objective. So, there are 4 main problems. Okay. Number 2, many people claim that children are spending less time reading this stage, but research suggests instead of that, you can use the word. It is widely claimed that children are spending less time reading this stage, but research suggests. In that way, you can bring a variety to your writing. And always try to be precise as possible. Don't use long, heavy sentences because no one is going to read them. There are several reasons for this. This is nonsense sentence. You shouldn't use sentences like this. Instead, you can write, there are 3 main reasons for this. In that way, you can bring some quality, some expression into your writing. Okay. And whatever you do, don't forget to quote the sources. Whenever we ask the student for presentation, some students come to the presentation and they write sources Google. Can Google be a source? You need to quote the exact source from where you have got that particular point. Okay. So for good academic writing, you need to have good academic vocabulary. These are the ways how you can develop the vocabulary. I don't have much time, so I'll skip through the slides quickly. Exposure, depth of processing, time, attention, involvement, and manipulation. These are the ways to help you. The first one you can see there's a wonderful website called Gutenberg.org. It gives you more than 60,000. I think the number must have increased by now. I'm speaking because every second the books are being uploaded. You can use this website for free ebook downloads. Okay. There's a wonderful website called newsy.com. It offers you news in digestible formats. You can see it quickly. There is learningenglish.voice.com. It offers you news stories and some transcripts. Okay. And finally, be a social butterfly. Talk to people. Talk to strangers. Okay. Talk to people from who are not from your area. In that way, you know how to express yourself, and that is a wonderful way to increase your vocabulary. Depth of processing. You need to take much note into serious talks. Like you can explore this one, film.nationalgeographic.com. It's a completely free website. You can go through this website. You watch a program, then it offers you quizzes. Okay, and you can attend the quizzes. In that way, your attention towards that program will be very, very deep, and that will help you to know new words. Okay. Finally, involvement. There's a wonderful website called playknowwhat.com. This website will help you in getting word vocabulary. We have a merriam-webster.com. Word games are there. You can download that. You can download the word list. You can simply play these word games online. This will help you. And finally, manipulation. Okay. There's a website called Quizlet.com. This website will help you to get all the academic word list in quizzical format. They will give a list and they will give a quiz. Okay. In that way, you can develop your vocabulary. And finally, attention. You can follow this website, lunocity.com. This website offers you free activities to help you with your attention and concentration. Okay. And finally, the time. Don't forget to allot time for your vocabulary. You can take the example of englishvocabularyexercise.com, examenglish.com. Both these websites are free, and you can browse these websites. There are many quiz games. There are many academic word lists to help you out there. Okay. And these are the digital tools that you can use. Linkru.com is a wonderful website. You can, if you type this Linkru website, it can turn the website into a clickable dictionary. For example, there's a web page you're visiting and you don't know particular word. Just type that word and the entire page will be transformed into a clickable dictionary. Right? Free of cost. Right? So that we can use lexipedia.com. In lexipedia.com is a wonderful way to create mind maps. Right? Any word you type, it will give the word family everything with a tree diagram type. Then you can use that, and that will help you, promote you, encourage you to learn new words. Snappyword.com is another visual resource that you can use, right? And there are many actually. I don't want to read out this thing. I will share this slide with the management. They can help you out. So these are many others actually. I have been asked to conclude in 20 minutes, so I will not go much into that. The second part of my presentation is on AI. Do you know this person? Yeah. Now you know. Jan Legun, Chief AI Scientist at Panda. He says, our intelligence is what makes us human, and AI is an extension of that quality. Right? So, For my second part of presentation about AI, I would like to take a few things. This website, most of you know, for all the wrong reasons, I hope. Okay, but we can use ChatGPT in a very creative way. Professor Shreya will agree with me that ChatGPT is a wonderful way to brainstorm ideas. For example, you want to write a topic, you don't know what I have to do. It will suggest you that you can carry your research in that way. Okay, take suggestions, but don't implement it without taking approval of your brain. Okay, so it's you can use ChatGPT for your talent suggestions. How many of you know this Copilot? Copilot? No one. I tell you, it comes free with Windows. Copilot, very useful, and I think it's more mature than ChatGPT. Copilot, and it offers you can summarize long emails. For example, if you have to read a series of emails, you just copy and drop it, make a summary. It will give a summary of all the emails that you received throughout the day, and you can even give reply also. So in that way, for doing the monotonous work, it is quite useful, and you can also integrate that with MS Word for grammar check, for spell check, for rephrasing, for summarizing. You can use this, right? How many of you heard this Jenny? Actually, some people call it Gen AI influence. We also call it Jenny. Okay, this is also you can use for intelligent prompts. Okay, or brainstorming and establish a clear writing flow while you're drafting new things. Okay. This is, I think you all have never about Quillbot. Okay, it's a wonderful chatbot for paraphrasing. Okay, for rewriting you can use this. Okay, but don't get dependent. Use it to brainstorm idea. Use it to give you thoughts. Okay, use it to give you a blueprint. But don't use it for writing your own ideas. Take help, but don't get addicted. This is a very good software. Most of us use. We all use it Grammarly. It's a free to use software. You can integrate with your MS Word, and whatever you write, it gives you any correction you make. It will show you in red lines that you have made a mistake. So in that way, what happens when you're typing on the MS Word? Sometimes on the soft copy, the mistakes are not visible. So Grammarly helps you in a lot way in that. Okay, use that freely, free to use software is that, no need to pay anything. Then another one is called What Tune. I use it sometimes what happens, I want to write a sentence, but Professor Shreya will agree with me that when we are writing a sentence, we don't like our sentence. Kuch aur hona chahiye, something better. You can put that word into What Tune, and the What Tune will give you 12 varieties to write it. Right? In that way, you can have a variations to your own writing. Okay. Another one is Jasper. We also call it Jasper AI. Is mostly for content creation. Though it's a paid software, but you can also use the paid version. For example, you are designing you have designed this one. Okay. You want some more variety to design it. The same can be designed by with Jasper. Okay. It can create images for you. It can create content for you. Okay. In that way, it will help you how to be creative. Now, another one is Hemingway editor. This is basically what Professor Shreya was saying about to finding the grammatical syntax error, all this thing. It will help you out in producing quality academic writing. For example, you don't know sometimes what happens when we write a sentence and we forget about syntax, we forget about the noun phrase or verb phrase alignment. It will help you out in that way. Okay. The basic job is Hemingway is to edit your sentences. Okay. Another one is Slick Write. You can use this also for your thing. It's quite free. Spelling errors, grammar style you can check over there. Okay. And another one is Copy.ai. This is also the same of like the chatbot, but you can basically use it for persuasive and descriptive writing. It will give you standard fonts. Okay. And that you can use for your making your writing more improved and better. Another one is called Pepperpal. You can use Pepperpal for real-time grammar check. Okay, and it's quite useful for finding out the common writing errors. And most of you know this one, Gemini. Okay, So Gemini is Google's AI. You can use that to integrate the real-time data and for accurate aware giving you prompt for research content. Okay. But after all this AI available over here, the most interesting part is that we need to be ethical in using the AI. When your teacher has asked you to write a descriptive essay, that essay should be your own. You should own that essay. It's not that someone has written for you and say that it's I written. Ownership is very important. So we need to use AI tool, but we need to cite the resources. We need to check whatever material that AI has given is factually correct or not, grammatically correct or not, because most of the we have seen that AI generated data is also grammatically wrong. And academic integrity, we should check it out. Okay. So, for the future of AI in academic writing, can say that real-time collaboration, personalized learning, it can help you to know things which are suitable to you, which matches your interest. And finally, the multilingual support. You can use AI to generate language in health discipline. For example, you can ask AI to write something in Sanskrit. You know that? AI can do it for you. You can ask AI to write something in Sanskrit. It can prepare a speech for you. So take the help in that. In that way, you can make your things go better. Okay. So these are the differences I've taken. I don't think you'll be able to say that, but I will show you over there. So that's from my side. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question is from Dr. Prakash, Chandra, Panda, sir. Through AI, can a less qualified or skilled person achieve excellence in their academic writings?
The question you're asking is that can a unskilled person
Yes, sir. An unskilled person.
can get recommend of AI? See, academic writing. See, academic writing is a very serious discipline. It requires a good knowledge of academic vocabulary. It requires a good knowledge of your English language, grammar, and syntax. If you don't have this basic knowledge, I think it will be futile to ask AI the questions. Yes, but AI will help you to frame your literature review. It will help you to give you a blueprint. In this way, you can go for research, but you cannot depend on AI totally for research. Research is your own domain, right? You have to invest time. And there is no question on skill person taking AI. I think it will do plagiarism. It will not do research. Right?
On behalf of DAV Hehal fraternity, I extend my grateful thanks to Dr. Gauri Shankar, Dr. Shreya Bhattacharjee, Dr. Panda, Dr. Saikat Banerjee for your gracious presence here. And you guided our students. They had this wrong notion that if they take engineering or medical science, they can be popular. Now they know in the field of literature, if they read English literature, they can be far more famous. And they will be J.K. Rowling or Chetan Bhagat. Both of, you see Chetan Bhagat from IIM Ahmedabad and IIT also, but people know him as a writer. Not that he is from IIM Ahmedabad or from any IIT. So they have been immensely benefited from your presence here, from your guidance. I also thank my principal, who has been a great motivator and a great mentor, and all my colleagues. And Suman Madam is here, all the principals, they have left. I also thank Suman Madam here on behalf of the whole school. I thank all my colleagues. I also thank Pitamji here, all our students, all our supervisory heads, Mr. Dubey, Mr. Amreshji, and our game teacher, discipline in charge,
Sanjay Mandalji, everybody, once again, thank you very much from the whole school. Thank you.